or give them to another agency.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Did you have a chance to read the minutes?
Yes, I didn't see anything.
The only thing is, under Commissioner comments and committee reports, Paul mentioned that he would be judging the poster contest. Well, it was both of us that were out there that done that. So if you want to put that he and I were, however, that's the only thing I've seen. And with that being the only correction, do I have a motion to accept?
I so move.
I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 2-0. Do you have any committee report?
I had the project concern strategic planning meeting. I thought it went very well. I brought you a template to kind of, change a little verbiage a little bit, and it was very good. And we're going through the process of, we have quite a few things that we got to address: policy and procedure, job description of the administrator, and where our goals are. It was a good meeting. And then we had the poster. I enjoyed doing that. And we have the February, 22nd, I believe, we're supposed to be back out there to
The soil conservation meeting,
yes, yeah.
yearly meeting. Yeah, I enjoyed that also. Seeing these, was it 1, 2, 3, 4?
Yeah, kindergarten through 4th.
Poster contest for being aware of the environment and soil conservation, water conservation. It was really interesting, and I was glad to have done it. The only other thing I had was I went to the Project Atchison meeting Wednesday night, and they had their meeting of getting people together trying to talk about agencies that are duplicating services, and they also want to create almost a handbook, so if there's somebody needing services that they can give them an updated version of who they need to contact if they need housing or hospital or dental or whatever. So it sounds like it's going to be an interesting project for them. Okay, come on up. Corey.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Wonderful. Got the monthly report for January of 18. Again, no particular surprises. Some numbers have gone down, which I like. Our scene times are where I want them to be. We're getting a little more efficient at getting our transfers running, getting back into the county, which is a positive sign. But overall, the numbers remain pretty stable. Percentages of transports to any of the particular hospitals are running right along. We've definitely developed a pattern over 12 months of operation now.
Is the response time up a little bit?
Of course, I don't have last year's with me. No, not particularly. And as we talked about before, this includes countywide response. So you're going to see the responses to Muskota, to the Larkenburg, Arrington area. And I could break it down a little further. When I say 911, that's not necessarily emergent responses either. That's also responses non-emergent. Actually, the majority of our responses are non-emergent. We have a protocol to where we call them priority 1, priority 2, and priority 3 responses. Priority 1 are lights and sirens. Priority 2 are crew discretion, whether or not to use lights and sirens. And priority 3 are no lights and sirens. So we have to weigh the use of lights and sirens, the benefit in getting there quicker versus the risk to the public when we kick those on. So when you see those numbers, I could actually break them down into emergent response and non-emergent response.
Well, I just assumed that was, because it has 911 on there, that was all emergency calls. But I think there was more probably in the rural, maybe this.
Yeah, we have a little more out into the rural areas. So, I don't see any concern in that. But if the numbers, if you want to break down into more detail, we can definitely do that.
I'm fine.
And
with this.
I do track those things. So when you're talking about in the city response, we're in the 5-minute range, both emergent and non-emergent. But we run 15 to 20 lift assists a month. We certainly don't kick the lights and sirens on and risk our crews and the public for lift assists. So those factor into those. Anything that comes through the 911 dispatch center or is treated as a response to the scene is lumped into that number.
Okay. I don't have any other questions. Do you, Bill?
Questions going good, bad?
I'd like to see them a little speedier. I actually have that number here. If you guys would like to see it, I didn't have it until this morning when it was printed out for me. But we resolved completely, I believe, 4 of the outstanding, and then we've set up some payment plans on others. So I'd like to go a little speedier, but let's see what Mr. Waring's report shows for February.
We probably shouldn't see names, I would say.
Shouldn't say them or see them?
Shouldn't see them.
Yeah, you can see
You can see them as operators of the ambulance, you just can't publicize them. Overall, though, our total in collections, both bad debt and what's being paid on time, we're ahead of the numbers that were projected. So I'm still really happy
I
about
think we
that.
plugged in, what, 60%? What's plugged in?
It ended up being in the 550,000 range, I think, initial estimates, and we're still on pace for that 700, north of 700,000 in collections. I think as of this morning, there are 275 that either fall into the unbilled category, waiting for payment from insurance companies, or on that list. So stuff we ran in November or December of 17 are just now being billed and starting to see returns.
Okay. I think part of that maybe being a little, maybe not quite as speedy as you thought, is just getting the new kinks worked out.
We got a steep learning curve. There is no doubt. That's the one thing none of us in that service has ever done in any great detail. Everybody there, you know, I got a lot of experience in operations, but billing was new for every single one of us. So.
Okay. Anything else? Anything going all right?
Yeah. Yep. Pretty happy with my staff. They do a good job day in and day out.
I noticed in our bills, we purchased some new uniforms. Did we get a new employee? Or?
We had a new employee, and we also had some replacement on damaged uniforms. That's budgeted for in the budget. So
I just noticed everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
Both.
I can't think of anything else.
Slot getting blacktop this year, I think it was.
I believe so. Yeah.
I was second.
Yeah, and we're fine. The Ottawa Road project was obviously more important. Our parking lot's in pretty good condition, all things considered.
Especially since we haven't had that big snowstorm yet.
That helps a lot. that rock doesn't get pushed around much. So. Yeah.
I can't think of anything else. So.
No problem getting ambulances in and out from the traffic.
No. Nope. Well, out's not a problem. In's still a little sketchy. We've talked to K.S.A. and basically been told there's nothing we can do.
Yes, I was a little concerned with grain trucks.
Yeah, the semis are.
And you've seen the security camera footage of the semis nearly hitting myself and one of my captains.
Mm-hmm.
We've changed policy on our end, and then hopefully have a good policy. We're kicking on our amber directional lights on the back of the apparatus anytime we turn in there now. And
Excellent.
so hopefully that. And I've also had them, we're kicking them on maybe a few hundred yards sooner than we would have before those incidents. So, and all of the units except for one have amber directionals on the back of them. So.
Excellent. That's a good idea. I was hoping that we could either resolve it or even, I don't know if they would let us put some kind of sign that maybe we could activate, like a when the ambulance would approach it, it would come on almost like a train. It's like
I'm sure
flashing
those of
lights.
you who have been through Leavenworth on the 20th Street traffic way at the fire station, they have actual traffic lights there that they can activate. That's what I would really love to have, but it doesn't seem like that's in the cards. So for now, we're protecting ourselves and using the equipment we have available. Every time I turn in, the amber directionals go on. The ambulances, everybody's been instructed to do that. And they've been pretty consistent with
Well,
it.
as time goes on, more people know that they see an ambulance, they'll say, well, they're going back to the station.
And to my knowledge, there hasn't been an incident, a close call anyway, since the last video you were shown during advisory board. I think if we've had any other close calls, they haven't been reported to me. So.
Good.
And I think they would be, because I know when I saw the Peterbilt coming up in the rearview mirror, and I wasn't too enthused about it. So I'm sure my crew have a similar incidents. They're gonna tell me about it. So.
Don't be shy about it. We need to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Come on.
Hello.
Hello.
How's everybody?
Okay. And you? Exhausted?
It's that time of year that we're trying really, really hard to get our work done so we get our value notices out on time. If we do, we do. I mean, it's just a struggle. Every year it's a struggle. It's just there's so much to it. But what I'm here for is I have an invoice from Comtech Systems Corporation, which is who we used to print our change of value notices last year, and we were really happy with them. And they come in and they take what they need from us as far as our data, and they print up the CVNs, and I don't have to send them anything, and they're lenient about how we could keep working practically up to the last minute before they come in and take them, whereas there's another company that does this, and they want the ability to take the information a week and a half before the March 1st deadline or something, and it's really
More restrictive. I mean,
yeah, it's really just tight trying to hit the deadline, and I don't know why. We always think we're going to get do better this year. It just stuff happens. Stuff happens. But anyhow, we were really happy with this company last year, so we would like to use them again. And so I have the invoice from them. Get it to you. I have the copies here for you to look at it.
Thank you.
Postage went up from last year, of course.
is this, what was it last year? Do you remember?
4,980. And then the quote that they gave us this year, they estimated 9,330 parcels. And last year's estimate was fewer than that. So I don't know if that number's
This guy wants to come in that motion.
I did too.
what?
I'm sorry,
There's a
but there's a
gentleman at
gentleman.
the door, and I told him to come on in twice.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's it. So I don't know for sure if we'd have quite that many parcels. I know we probably have about 9,600 parcels, but we don't send out notices to exempts. We don't mail exempts.
Well, I mean, if they've done a good job, it's worth, a lot of hassles going somewhere else. So
There's really only a couple companies in the state that really know what they're doing in this regard and have done it before and get it done right.
do you have any other questions or anything? Do I hear a motion to accept Comtech Systems Corporation for an amount of $5,524 for handling proofs and print job setup?
Do we have to have a PO, or we can go with this as a PO? This is just
This is
estimate.
Or do we need?
Well,
Estimate.
this is their invoice based on those parcels. It could be adjusted downward if we end up having fewer.
Okay. So do I need to wait then before we jump in the gun, or?
Can you approve up to this amount in case it's adjusted downwards? Because I have to pay them prior to the mailing.
Yeah, I think we can do that. Do I hear a motion to?
I so move with pay up to this amount, and if it's less, then
We'll subtract it off the total. The total amount was $5,524.
now you'll write a check for the full 5,500 or a portion of that.
A portion if it ends up being less. Yeah.
Okay, it's been moved. I'll second it. Any other questions or anything?
You have any comments?
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 2-0.
You want these 2 copies back, or do you need a copy? Or?
I would like a copy, please,
Yes.
for my records. Thank you.
Do we need to sign off, or just a motion to vote?
There'll actually have to be a PO or something come
Yeah.
together, won't there?
We get the
When you
final
get
one.
the exact amount. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay,
All right, thanks, guys.
thanks.
I know last year, wait a minute, I know last year we run out of time at the very end, we had to pay a lot of overtime to get the evaluations. Is that gonna be the case this
You know,
year?
I think it's the case every year with Debbie and Belinda because we have to wait on certain things to be done before we can do other steps. And there's only so many of us that can do it. And we have to wait for all the new construction and all the relists and all that to be done and entered. And just the fact that we were without a data collector for a good bit of Jessica quit in January of last year, which nobody had time to train a new data collector, so we didn't even have one for a while. Then we got Stormy, and then she ended up leaving, and we shared her a little bit with the treasurer's office even while we had her. And so all of the relists and the new construction and everything is behind, so we have to wait on all of that before we can move forward with some of the rest of the process.
Is there a possibility to get an intern from the college to come in and help
We need one.
before it gets any further along?
We need one this year because Jim had gotten some interns. We have relist every 6 years, so if we have a date that's over 6 years old on our relist, we have to collect that this year. And it was 6 years ago that they did an abundance of relist, more than 17% of our parcels. So we have more relist to do this year than what we would normally have. So we actually planned in our budget to hire a temp to help with that. So hopefully we'll get
Hire in the tent, but could a guy do what you call it, internship? Does there be anything like that to even assist on top of the?
Well, the final review that Belinda and Debbie and I do, it's like there's nobody that can do that but the 3 of us.
Okay.
It's just it requires too much knowledge that an intern wouldn't have, and even the rest of the staff in our office doesn't have. So, but it could be helpful to just be able to start on it sooner, and if we could get relist and new construction done sooner, we could get started on what we have to do sooner, and that would be the goal.
Okay.
One other thing I'll let you go. I don't want to be a tattletale, but there's a person that's starting the process of building a new home. I don't know if he's come in for the tax abatement or not, but he's pushing dirt. And it's on 210th Road.
What 100 block?
Pardon me?
What 100 block?
Well, I don't know. It's Mr. Brookenshay. and the racetrack.
Okay, well, we'll see if we have a building permit on that, or if we don't, we'll sure dummy one in and see what's going on. Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you.
thanks. Sir, do you have something?
Having been invited in, yes, thank you. Appreciate Mr. Henderson's invitation.
We both waved at you a couple times and you couldn't see us.
Well, we're here to take care of something over in the motor vehicle.
I see.
But they're closed. Arthur Thompson, 3775 Rooks Road. Hopefully that rings a little bit of a bell because pretty much every year that I've been in town, I've come asking for some kind of improvement on Rooks Road. At one level, we appreciate the service that the road department has been putting in there, some kind of rocks. We've changed the name of the street to Rocks Road because that's supposed to be a joke. So about the gravel that's put down there. Of course, many of us say that gravel is too big stone for that kind of road and that kind of service. But the larger question is there any possibility that we could talk about chip and seal on that first 0.6 of a mile of Brooks Road?
I think we discussed this before, and I think the two options I recall is you and your neighbor pay 100% of it, or you get in a special
Taxing district?
district, and then you will pay for it through your taxes. I think that's probably the only two options. Now, am I quoting that wrong?
Well, yeah, those are the
Our
options
options,
to do
yes.
a district. Rooks, as I recall, part of that road is county and part of it's a township road. Is that right?
I think the township kicks in with their 0.6 widths. No, it wouldn't be 0.6. Where's the cutoff? That bridge?
The bridge.
So the 0.6 is from the bridge to the highway.
Correct.
I think that's where the township county,
And that's the townships.
that'd be county.
Township being
Mount Pleasant.
Mount Pleasant, yes. Oh, so from the highway to
That
the
first long
bridge is the county's.
Correct. That's why I was.
And that's where in previous years when I've come with the request, the county commissioners have heard the appeal and then found some reason why it couldn't work. Well, when we had looked into doing a benefit district, the benefit is based on, by statute, linear feet of frontage on the road, and generally the people on the north side of the road didn't see much of the benefit.
They didn't want to get into it yet.
Yeah, they seemed unwilling to
Pay their share.
vote yes for a benefit district. We could revisit that if the mood has changed. Realizing that there's an investment already, and I'm not prepared today to address this, but thanks for the invitation. Realizing that there is an investment quarterly, annually to maintain the road, how much of that investment could be moved over to a chip and seal project and reduce the amount that the people on the street would pay? Is it possible, bookkeeping wise?
I'm not following the quarterly. What?
He wants to figure out what his main cost to maintain the road now and put that towards the chippings.
Oh, you mean just the regular maintenance and rock and
Yeah,
that?
and the road scraping and things like that, which every time it's done, it adds more rock and kicks up more mud. But the bottom line is that the county is already investing something in maintaining that road. Get to chip and seal, and the maintenance would be lower, more reasonable, a savings.
I'd have to probably argue that because like every 3 to 5 years they got to go in there and redo that chip and seal. That's very expensive. That would probably more than eat what the cost to keep it up, gravel it. Well, it would be interesting to see those figures if possible. There was a time when Don Ball and I had
talked to, I guess it was Mr. Henderson, about the people on the street paying for the material, and then there was an agreement, quotes, a possible agreement, that the county, in its spare time, could actually do the chip and seal. Do you remember something to that effect?
I don't remember there being an offer of anything. I remember there being
Discussion with Don.
With Don, yeah.
So that would be one way of trying to make it more reasonable for the neighbors. Now, as far as the neighbors on the north side, there are fewer of them than there are on the south side.
But they have the same number of linear feet of frontage.
Yeah.
We had one complaint, if I recall, that her son-in-law or some couldn't run his bobcat down the road with tracks. You recall that? If it was chip and sealed.
I don't remember that.
There was about as many against it as there was for.
There was discussion, I think, at two times back when I was here. The neighbors have gotten to be a lot friendly. Excuse me. And I wonder if there's as much concern or objection as there were. I don't know.
What is it the dust? Is that the main concern, or mud?
Dust. Let's call it the dust. Now, there are four of us down towards the end, there, closer to the bridge, that invest at least $600 total each year for dust control. So we're putting in that, and all you end up with is a bit of dust control for part of the summer. So we are putting in something already.
There's quite a few people. My brother-in-law pays for his own.
Yeah.
But see, there, once they put that down and that grader comes to that particular part of the road, they lift the blade up, so they're not maintaining that road, so therefore there wouldn't be very little cost.
Well, it's an interesting bit of logic, but the scraper's there, he's taking the time, he's moving down that area. The fact that the blade is up for 450 feet, 500 feet, it's not costing or saving the county anything. I appreciate just the invitation to come in and review that with you, gentlemen. Sure. And if there's any possibility of coming up with some way of improving that road, it would be appreciated.
Okay. We'll talk about it and think about it.
Thank you. Thank you. And appreciate the work that you folks are doing and your work.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, too.
And we very much appreciate the snow removal in the county. We always know when we get to the city limits.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Or to put that statement in a more positive way, we know when we get to the county limit.
Yes.
I took it well both times. Have a good day. Okay. New business before the board. Pat, do you have anything?
This isn't necessarily new business, but we had talked last week about the proposed engagement letter for the Recent Valley.
Okay.
And had noticed
Numbers didn't jive up.
well, it was the date, that they had moved the date up to from July 31st to July 15th, and that actually had been what was on the date last year. Not exactly sure when it transferred over, but anyway, they did move it back to July 15th. I also talked with the CPA who will be doing the audit, Tyler, I can't recall his last name. And he indicated to me that he thought that he would be on it quicker than he didn't think it would be any problem to have it.
Is that isn't who done it before, is it? Wasn't it
It's
Carol?
not the same as that. Well, I think Carol was the supervising
Okay.
partner, and Melanie Tuttle had done it, but and they may be involved. I think he's going to be the one to do the on-site work at the beginning. So I have that.
You have that new one? Okay, this is the old one.
What did we have last week that the numbers didn't jive up?
Well, I had given you misinformation about about what we had been paying for the audit, because I had looked back at one of the old letters, and I didn't realize that we had picked the 1-year option for 3 consecutive years instead of the 3-year option. And so last year it was $21,500. This year it's $22,000. And on a 3-year plan that goes down $3,000 to $19,000. And it goes up for years 2 and 3. So if you pick the 1-year option, we need to make sure that we send out requests for proposals in probably June or July.
I was visiting.
It's in my opinion that we are this year going to look at other insurance companies and bids, and then the following year we're going to check into audits, because I've always been told 3 to 5 years. It's not that you're dissatisfied, but to get a different set of eyes on it. And
I think this is the 8th year that they will be doing it.
And due to several other things, change in 2 offices, we wanted kind of some consistency. They had the CIC system, which created a lot of problems, and kind of trying to get over some humps before we change. I did visit with Jamie about that, and we talked like we ought to get what is the correct terminology when you send this out for bid? The
request for proposals.
Yeah. Get that out probably July or August anyhow. So that's something that I think she's going to come in and talk to us when Jack's back. So is there any other discussion on this? Do I hear a motion to accept?
Is that something that can wait a week for all 3 commissioners, or does that have to be?
I suppose it could. It could wait a week. It sounded to me like the order that they came back was the order that they were going to do that is the order they were going to do the work on. But I don't recall there being a deadline on there.
I don't think that Jack would have any questions. I mean, we did talk about it before he was gone, and I don't think he had a problem with doing it the way we've laid out. If there was any questions at all in my mind, I would probably say no, but I think let's go. It's all right by me.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we sign the letter of intent for audit for 1 year.
Okay.
The amount of 20. What did you say? 22,000.
Yes, even.
22,000 even.
Isn't it for?
Was it 22 even? Oh, I said 22.5. Or was it 21.5?
Oh, it was 22.
21.5 last year. 22. All right.
For just a 1 year standalone. I'll second that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 2-0. 1 year. Do you want to date it too? I'm surprised they've got a date for
Oh,
it.
yeah, I see that.
Do you need this back, Pat, or should I give it to Michelle?
Yeah, to Kaylee, to Michelle.
I'll just put it in the blue folder.
That's fine.
Do we need to talk anything about Government Day? Are we proceeding with that, or
Michelle's been working on that.
Michelle's been working on that? Jamie or somebody?
It was Michelle. I think she was getting with the judges. And,
So she was gonna get with Donna, I believe, Donna Oswald.
Yeah.
Sometime.
That'll be here for you know it.
Although she was just talking to her, I want to say maybe one day last week about it again. I do remember hearing her talking about it. So
the next thing I've got is we had the noxious weed beginning report, progress report for 2017, presented to us by Jessica Ellerman, sorry, on the block. Did you have, we both looked at it at that time, is there any more questions you have on that? Do I hear a motion to accept the noxious weed eradication progress report?
I so moved.
And I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Pass 2-0.
blue balloon, please.
Okay, the next thing I have is the PO for the second payment of the re-roofing of the jail project. This is the second payment, but there's going to be a 10% balance due left just for holdovers and last minute changes and corrections. So the amount of the PO is $57,589.41, and this is to come out of the 2017 budget year.
I'll make a motion that we pay it
Okay.
out of the 17 budget. Out of 17 here.
I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Will we get tax credits on that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they're not included in that, right? Will they be discounted from that, or they are?
No, we sell the.
Yes,
tax
yeah,
credits
yeah,
on
that's what I was thinking. So we should get a pretty good tax credit thing out of that.
We get 25, we'll have the ability to sell 25% of the qualifying costs. Not all the costs qualify. I don't know whether those have all been approved or not.
Okay, is there any old or unfinished business? County council updates?
Tax sale was filed on Friday, and we have already had the first 3 tracks removed because taxes were paid.
Good.
So that's a good thing. We'll be doing service of process over the next several weeks and trying to find everybody and get everybody notified. And we'll see how that goes. That's taken up a great deal of my time, and thanks to Roger Denton in the appraiser's office, who's working on the computer side of things. It's a big time saver. So I appreciate his work.
He's very handy with that stuff.
Yeah, he definitely is.
Make sure everything's getting down here. Is that all you have, Pat?
Yes.
Any need for an executive session?
I have no, unless you have any information about that.
Wow, it's short.
Yeah, it'll be short time.
Well, with that, do I hear a motion to adjourn at 1:40?
I so moved.
I'll second that. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned.